You ever look at your paycheck, see a number that feels pretty good, right? And then by the end of the month, you're just wondering, where did it all go? Well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to dig into this exact feeling. Why so many of us, even with a solid income, feel like we're just one wrong step away from financial trouble. It's like walking a tightrope you never even signed up for. I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's that feeling, it's 11 p.m. on a Sunday, the weekend's over, and you're just lying there staring at the ceiling, doing the math in your head. The mortgage, the car, the groceries. You're trying to figure out where the leak is. Because on paper, everything should be fine. It's that Sunday night math that so many of us know all too well. All right, so to really get our heads around this, let's make it less abstract. Let's look at a specific case study. We're going to meet a family, we'll call them the Garcias, and they are living this paradox day in and day out. So the Garcias, they're both professionals. And check this out. Together, they bring in $139,000 a year. That's a great household income, right? I mean, by almost any standard, you'd think they'd be more than comfortable. They should be saving, investing, building a nice nest egg, you'd think. But let's peel back the layers a bit. And boom, here's the catch. A huge, staggering 82% of their income is already spoken for before they even have a chance to spend it. It's all eaten up by fixed costs. You know, the big stuff you can't just skip. The mortgage, 2 car payments, insurance. All those bills that show up every single month like clockwork, no matter what. So you see the disconnect here? It's this crazy contrast. On one side, you've got this awesome, high income. But on the other side, there's practically zero flexibility. After all those fixed bills are paid, there's just nothing left. No cushion, no wiggle room for when life inevitably happens. And of course, life does happen. The car's transmission goes out. It's a $1,200 repair. Now, you'd think for a family making almost 140 grand, that's an annoyance, right? A hassle. But for the Garcias, it's a full-blown crisis. That $1,200 has to go on the credit card, and just like that, their whole carefully balanced financial life gets tipped right into debt. And here's the thing. The Garcias are not some rare exception. Their story is incredibly common. It's a perfect example of what you could call the 82% trap. And it all comes down to understanding the quiet but powerful grip that high fixed costs can have on your life. This is a really important concept, this fixed cost trap. It's basically when all those must-pay bills eat up so much of your income that you have no freedom left, no security. It's a huge lesson, right? Your financial health isn't really about the number on your paycheck. It's about how much of that money is already spent before you even get to make a decision about it. And these are the usual culprits, aren't they? Your mortgage or rent, car payments, maybe some student loans still hanging around, insurance, and oh my gosh, childcare. For so many of us, just these 5 things can devour the lion's share of our income. Each one, on its own, seems like a responsible choice, but when you stack them all up, whoa, they can build a kind of financial cage around you. Okay, so it's really easy to look at the Garcia's story and think, well, that's just them. Maybe they bought too much house or too much car. But let's pull the camera back. Let's zoom out from this one family and look at the bigger picture, because what we're about to see is, well, it's a national reality. So the big question is this just an anecdote, the story of one family who made a few missteps, or are the Garcias holding up a mirror to a much, much bigger problem? Well, it turns out the U.S. Federal Reserve is very interested in this. They actually study this exact kind of financial fragility, and they do it by asking a really simple but incredibly telling question. And the question is this: if you were hit with a surprise emergency expense of just $400, could you pay for it with cash, without going into debt? And the answer is just, it's staggering. A full 37% of adults in the U.S. say no, they can't. Just let that number sink in for a second. We're not talking about a $1,200 transmission repair like the Garcias had. We're talking about $400. More than a third of the entire country is just one flat tire, one broken appliance, one surprise medical bill away from a real financial problem. This isn't just the Garcia story. This is the reality for tens of millions of people. So, what are we supposed to do with all this? What does it all mean? Well, for starters, it tells us that we have to completely redefine what we think of as financial health. We've got it all wrong. Look, the key takeaway here is pretty simple, but it's powerful. A high income does not automatically mean you're financially secure. We've been trained to believe that a bigger paycheck solves all our problems. But the Garcia's story and that shocking data from the Fed prove that that's just not true.
It can be a complete illusion.
And this really gets to the core of it. The real way to measure your financial stability isn't what you earn. It's how much of what you earn is actually yours to decide what to do with. It's about the money that's left over after all the non-negotiables are paid. That's your flexibility. That's your real security.
So that kind of leaves us with a big question to chew on, doesn't it? If a high salary isn't the goal, if it's not real security, then what is? What should we be working towards instead? What does true financial freedom really look like?